Learning Perek Yud Halacha Hey. Melochim, the Rambam says, Kvavianu, we already clarified, Shekol Mises Ben Noach. In Noach, every death penalty of execution, which is for any of the 7 Noraid commandments, is B'sayif, is with a sword. Ela Imbal Ish Israel, unless he had a relationship with a Jewish woman, Oinar Moroso, or a betrothed Jewish maiden, Yisokel, he would get skilo, which is stoning. If he had a relationship with her after she already had lived with her husband, even if though it's before, after she went through chuppah with her husband, before she had a relationship with him, ichonik, she would go through. He would be put to death with chenek. So the Peirush explains, B'noach, there's no forbiddenness of a betrothed maiden because it's only if she's married and lives with her husband is she considered a married woman. And Noach would be liable for having lived with another B'noach's married wife. But in the laws of Yisrael, there's a concept of a betrothed maiden, and therefore he would get a stoned, just like Yisrael, who comes upon a narrow morosa. And if he has a relationship with a married Jewish woman after she lived with her husband before, and it'd be after chuppah, but before she lived with her husband, he would go through choking rather than hanging, because in Menoach there's no illicit relationship on going through a ceremony before having cohabiting, but only if she has lived with her husband. Therefore, the rule would be she would get choking, he would get choking, just like Israel, who has a relationship with a married woman. Kesef Mishnah questions why the Rambam goes on what he wrote in Perek Tes Halacha Zayin, and he answers to sign off with finishing the death penalties of a Ben Noach. The Kesef Mishnah says the Rambam goes and repeats the Halacha because in Halacha Dal he wrote, once the law is changed, and his intent is not like the Kesef Mishnah, but his intent is that since the law of death is changed, it's only when it's less. It's not called changed, because the more stringent death includes within it the lesser magnitude. There's 4 levels. There's stoning, burning, with a hereg with a knife or a sword, and chenek, choking. But when the law has changed, he is not. If it's more stringent, he's not liable. Therefore, he says, we explained that everything is with a sayif, which is category 2. But if he had a relationship with a Jewish woman who's married, or a maiden who is betrothed, would be stoning, which is category 4 and category 1. But Baal Eishes Yisrael would be category 1. Now Amorota is category 4. And if he had a relationship with her after they went into the chuppah, before the Jew had lived with his wife, then he goes to chenek to tell us that if he had a relationship with a betrothed woman and he became a ger, he is not liable, because that would be stoning. And if she went into the chuppah and he had a relationship with her before she lived with her husband, and he converted, he would be liable for chenek, because chenek is included in sayif. The Goyim Bekiva Eger adds in the Tosfos, it's brought down that what he's killed if he murdered another Jew, that he killed him while he was a goy, that's even if they did not warn him. And if he ate Evim and Achai, a limb from a living animal, and he converted, he would get Malchus, even though he converted, because the Malchus, the lightest death, Malchus, is included in it. And since when he was a goy, he would be killed on eating Evim and Achai, when he's this guy, he's still liable for Malchus like he is Soil who ate Evim and Achai. But you can't make him more liable than a Jew would be liable. And this depends in Subis, Lamed Gimel, if Misa is more harsh or Malchus is more harsh. If Malchus is more harsh, then you do not give him Malchus after he converted, because Malchus is more harsh than death, when death was what he would have received as a non-Jew. And he doesn't get Malchus on eating Evim and Achai when he was a goy, only death. And furthermore, the shiur also speaks about it.